Why is my resume not getting shortlisted by ATS? So I think the first thing you want to think about from an ATS perspective is the formatting of your resume. The ATS version of a resume should be very well structured. It should be very simple, very clear, and it should not try to make things too fancy. So I'll share my screen and try to show you what I mean by that. This is just a sample resume, not a real person. We just took a format from another resume that we had helped prepare for one of our clients. But what you see here is a very straightforward, simple structure for a resume. I would not advise looking at the actual content here, because the reason I'm showing you this resume is mostly for formatting purpose, not for content purpose, right? If you look at the format of this, it starts clearly with a name in bold and larger font size, and then it just gives you the most basic information that's needed about the person's contact information. So their phone number, their email, LinkedIn URL, as well as their location. After that, there is a very short summary. Obviously, this summary can be longer depending on how much you want to highlight from your work experience. The more experience you have, generally, the more you would want to highlight here. But it's a simple summary section. No fancy columns, no fancy tables or icons or anything like that. And then if you scroll down, the work experience section. This one here, again, for simplicity's sake, we have just added some placeholders. But if you look at the structure, it's extremely clear, easy to follow. There are no confusing distractions. There are no sidebars. There's no different fonts being used. This is generally very straightforward and to the point, where we are talking about each work experience in one section here, then moving to the next experience. And you can see everything is done very consistently. The dates are always here on the right, the company and the position title on the left. Position title has been italicized, and then you have the bullet point structure to describe your experience. So it may not look like very fancy, it may not look very stylish, but that's okay. That is what ATS is looking for. ATS, at least as of today, prioritizes clean structures, simple structures, easy to understand formats, rather than something that is fancy with too many columns, too many tables, too many colors on the page. So now that we have covered the work experience section, you scroll down to the education section, and again, you see very simple. Here, one thing you could add sometimes from a content perspective is noting down your key achievements or contributions that you might have done as part of your university, clubs, association, or anything related to your participation outside of academia within your education background can be helpful, especially if you're in your 20s. It generally does point out to people how well you are rounded, rather than just focusing on academics. You're doing things outside of that. But again, that's not really an ATS factor. From an ATS perspective, things are very simple. At the bottom here, we have the skills and interest column, sections which highlight very briefly what are the most important skills that you possess, and certain interests which might be conversation starters during the interview process. There are many things that you can improve even in this resume, but the most important thing to take away from this particular resume template is its simplicity and its comprehensiveness. It is including all of the key sections that are needed to have the ATS proofread your resume, assess it, and then shortlist it if there is a good fitment, right? So I think that's one of the things you need to think about from a formatting perspective. This is